I went out today and fixed up a bunch of fence, and then I put up a bunch of camera stuff, security camera stuff. I figured it'd be a good idea for me to just use some money to get more security camera stuff. And I went out to that lease property, that other one that I got, that 75-acre lease one. I went out there and I took a look around to see if the guy was still breaking into the property, and I don't think he is anymore. But so that's good. No, I don't think I have anybody trespassing on the property anymore. But I still got to put up here in a couple of months. I was taking a look at the brush, and it's still kind of rough. The trees are definitely dead and dying. I can tell that the herbicide is definitely working, but the whole the one of the big problems with these mesquite trees is, even if the tree is dead, even if you cut the tree down, you're still going to have these giant logs, okay, that are completely full of thorns, and these thorns will go right through your boot. They'll go right through a tire. They'll go right through everything, okay. And so I got to figure out what I need to do to get rid of some of these. I need to figure out what I need to do to get rid of some of these mesquite trees. Even though the trees are dead, I have a bunch of just dead mesquite trees everywhere, and they're still just as bad. They may not be growing anymore, which is great. Okay, they're not going to get any bigger, but I still got a bunch of dead mesquite trees out there. And so I was actually walking out there today, and one of the thorns went straight through my boot and stuck me in the foot. Every time I go out there, I get stuck in the foot, and so it's that bad. I got a lot of mesquite trees out there, and so I got to figure out what I'm gonna do with that. I'm thinking maybe I get somebody to maybe I get like somebody with a hay baler to just well, I mean, but then I was like, they're not gonna be able to cut the big stuff, even with like a hay mower, excuse me, like a big old drum mower. Get somebody out there with like a big old drum mower and just drum mow it. I was thinking maybe that's a good idea. I'll have to figure out what I'm gonna do. I was thinking maybe I could get because those big drum mowers. If you look up a drum mower for cutting hay, they're like these real fast spinning discs that just effectively cut through anything. And so I was like, maybe that'll get through it. And if I just mow the property with a drum mower, and then I maybe get somebody out there to just roll the soil over one time, maybe that'll fix it. I got to figure out exactly what I'm gonna do with that property here pretty soon. And I'm actually getting real good at making this fence, and I'm actually getting real good at working on fencing. And so on that 189 acre property, I got about 50 acres of it cleared. And so I figured I just need to put up a fence on a small portion of it, and I can start using that field too. So I can just go out there and make the fence myself. I can just make the fence, and then I can put cattle out there. So that'd be a good idea too. And it's not going to cost me a lot of money. It maybe cost me. I think maybe it's going to cost me. I don't know, maybe $1,500, because I can make the fence myself. If I have some wire and I have that's all I need. If I just go and buy some barbed wire, I can actually put up the fence myself. I'm actually getting real good at it, and I've been working on the fence stuff a lot, and I'm getting real good at it, and I'm sure I can do it. So yeah, but I need more land. I need to find and I need to get together more land. My whole thing right now with what I got going on is that I effectively right now my big thing is to just do nothing. Right, that's my big thing. I was speaking about the idea of doing nothing to make money. Right, it's very counterintuitive. Right, it's very counterintuitive to think about the idea of doing nothing to make money, but that's the situation that I'm in right now. Okay, up until now, I was effectively just splitting my chops open 24/7. Uh, my whole thing is, when I started my business with five animals. Okay, God knows it's the truth. Okay, it just is what it is. I'm not making this up. Money's not an opinion. Okay, if you have a bunch of opinions and you have nothing to show for it, that's a sign that you're effectively going to get nowhere your entire life. All right, it's a clear cut indicator. Okay, if you have a bunch of opinions and you have nothing to show for it, what are you going to do with that? All right, you actually, because when you do the work, you find out. All right, the work is very difficult. Running cattle is not some easy thing. All right. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you're looking to do. If you're looking to even whatever, play soccer, if you're looking to play football, if you're looking to play the guitar, if you're looking to be a computer scientist, if you're looking to be a doctor, if you're looking to be a lawyer, if you're looking to be an accountant, whatever it may be that you, if you're looking to be an entrepreneur, it doesn't matter what you're looking to be. If you're looking to be very, very, very good at it, it is extremely difficult. All right. Extremely difficult. And my whole thing about making it is that just because you make it, it does not mean, right? I mean, everybody does not, just because you make it does not mean that you're effectively going to be there forever. Okay. You have to work for your spot every single day. All right. Like me, and I spoke about this from my perspective. Like if I went out right now, right? Let's say that I went out right now and I decided, you know what? I'm not going to think about growing my business anymore. I'm not going to think about running my business anymore. I'm not going to think about this stuff. I'm just going to go out and spend money. All right. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I'm just gonna go and spend some money. Right? I'm just gonna go and spend the money. I'm gonna start focusing on the business. I'm gonna pull all the money out the business, and I'm gonna start spending the money. Right? I'm gonna go and buy myself this. I'm gonna go and buy myself that. I'm gonna go buy myself whatever it is. Right? I'm gonna buy myself a new truck. I'm gonna buy myself whatever. Right? I'm gonna buy myself whatever whatever you can imagine. All right. And then I'm gonna go into whatever. Go hang out on the weekends, right? And I'm not going to work on my business 7 days a week anymore. I'm not going to work on my business. I'm just going to go and whatever. How long do you think I would be rich for if I started doing that, right? And it's not is and it's the same for everybody, right? And this is what I talk about when it comes down to it. I mean, a lot of people who fail when you actually see it, almost everybody who's failing is failing in the exact same way. Almost everybody. All right. I mean, if I did it, I would fail too, right? Oh well, I'm gonna go and buy this, and I'm gonna go and buy that, and I'm gonna go and buy this, and I'm gonna go and buy that, and then not even work on my business, right? The business is a secondary thought for me, right? I'm gonna go and spend money I don't have, and then boom. How long do you think? How long do you think I would be rich for if I started doing that? Not very long, right? It doesn't matter what I did. I mean, I would end up losing my money, right? And so with my business right now, the big idea with the business, right? I started my business with 5 animals 3 years ago. Okay, I started my business with 5 animals 3 years ago, and right now, if I were to just take a very minimal amount of leverage, okay, my whole thing about not taking leverage right now is that it's kind of this multi-dimensional situation that is going on with my business, right? I'm effectively making such a large amount of money running my business that I am having a very difficult time reinvesting the earnings. Very difficult time, okay? If I were to just leverage against my cattle herd, if I were to leverage against my cattle herd, I could grow my business by 75% today. Today. All right. And then I would still have my earnings, right? Oh yeah, and I was thinking about this too. I'm just gonna sell my animals at 850. I'm not gonna overcomplicate it. Oh my god, if I don't sell 4 animals in January, then I'm not gonna have any animals in July. And oh my god, I'm not gonna worry about it. I'm just gonna sell my animals at 850. Okay. Next year, at the beginning of the year, when I go and take my loans, where do I get my loans from? Right? I talk about this. Where do I get my loans from? And when I determine how, I don't want anything from anybody. All right. Not a single person. All right. Nobody's going to invest into my business. I don't want your money. Keep it to yourself. If you legitimately want to pay me to do something, you can pay me $100,000 an hour, and it's 2 hours maximum. Nobody's paying me to do anything. I guarantee it. All right. I don't want anything from anybody. All right, I'm not some malicious person. If I legitimately thought that money was going to solve any of my problems, I would just go and get more money. Money's not going to solve anything for me. I already make so much, I don't know what to do with it. All right, more money's not going to solve any of my problems. When I let's say that I'm looking to utilize some of my cattle or some of my capital, okay? Let's say I have equitable assets and they're producing me a positive return. They're producing me a monthly cash flow. I have my investments, and my investments are producing me money on a monthly basis. And I'm looking to access the money that I have in my investments, but I'm not looking to liquidate my investments because why would I do that? Right? Why would I do that? Why would I not do that? Right? If I liquidate all of my investments, I'll just be sitting here with a boatload of cash, and that's not going to do anything. Cash does not do anything, right? It's a piece of paper. It doesn't do anything, right? If I have a functioning business, if I have a business and that business is producing me a return, then I get tax benefits and I get to make a profit, right? I take that money and I do something with it, and it actually does something at that point. The money will do something at that point. If I legitimately felt like I could use more money, oh my God, if I just had more money, it would solve more problems. If I genuinely felt like that, I would just go and get more money. I've even stopped using leverage for like 5 months now. I've completely stopped using leverage because my earnings are so high that I cannot do anything with the money that I already have. All right, I am looking to invest some of my capital to to start myself a new preconditioning facility, et cetera. Right, that is something that I am looking to do, and I don't need more money to do that. I already make the money. If I had nothing, I would just redo everything in 30 seconds. I already have the money. I don't need more. Oh my God, if I just found somebody to invest in my business and I could use that, I don't need anything from anybody. All right? Legitimate. I don't even want anything from anybody. Keep your BS to yourself. All right? I don't, if I legitimately needed more money, I would just go and get the money and I would leverage against what I have already. I have my cattle, I have my monthly cash flow. And here's the thing. Well, my whole thing is like if I am looking to leverage against my assets, right? I've always said don't leverage against your imagination, okay? Don't leverage against your imagination. Whatever it is that you're looking to buy, it's not going to be that great, and it's not going to do anything for you. Chances are, okay. If anything, it's just going to put you in a bad spot. All right, don't leverage against your imagination, right? Let's say that I have my business, right? And my business is producing me a set amount of money on a monthly basis. And my business also has assets like my cattle, my equipment, my land, et cetera, et cetera. So I go and I am looking to access this money that I have put away in my assets. Where do I go to take a loan? And what do I offer the banker? Well, I mean, I just gave away the question, right? I go to a commercial bank. I go to a commercial bank. I choose one. There are a bunch of them: Chase, Bank of America, PNC. There are a whole bunch of them, right? There are commercial banks. There are banks everywhere. You can also go to ag credits. There's also the USDA, right? There are banks everywhere. And when I look to leverage, what do, right? I offer what I have as collateral, right? I have these cattle. I have been growing the equity of my herd by just reinvesting my earnings. I have like 10% debt. 10%. I am legitimately making whatever, $80,000 a month, and I don't have any debt. Right? That's effectively what it turns out to, right? I have whatever. I have $1 million worth of collateral. I make a whatever. I make a $45,000 a month. I have $1 million in collateral, and I'm not using hardly any debt. Right? That's what I offer the banker. I say you can hold my stuff. You can hold what I have as collateral, right? That's what I offer the banker, and that's effectively what I'm looking to offer the banker here in about 4 months. I'll probably have about $1 million, maybe 750,000, something like that, worth of just my equity that I can offer as collateral for the loan. And also, I will be making well, if I'm liquidating 12 on a monthly basis, I mean that's about whatever, $28,000 a month, okay? And I don't have any debt. I don't have hardly any debt. right? Like my whole situation right now is I've actually stopped using debt, right? Because and my whole thing about me stopping using debt until next year, and I figured I would just do this because even if I used debt, right? If I went and leveraged against my my cattle right now, right? If I went and leveraged against my cattle, not my cash flow, but my cattle, I would for every four that I sell, for every five that I sell, I would have to buy like 25 or 30. So if I need to bring home like 25, and it would compound upwards, right? So if I need to bring home like 25 cattle, if I need to bring home whatever, 40 cattle a month, where am I going to put all these animals, right? And that's also the whole idea of leveraging against the balance sheet, right? And then I can invest with debt and hold on to the cash, right? And I can always invest the cash later when I see an opportunity to do so. But this is one of the big things, and I'm not like being a doofus when I talk about this. I am legitimately telling you what's happening. All right, I am telling you what's happening. I'm telling you what's going on with my business. And my whole thing is like when you watch me run my business, you get an opportunity to watch me run my business, right? This is incredible, right? I actually make more money as a cattleman than effectively anybody on the planet makes doing just about anything. And if you want to see what it's like, then go and do it. Nobody's stopping you. Nobody's stopping you. I'm not stopping you. If anything, I'm it would be fantastic if you made it. It'd be fantastic if all of you made it, but probably more than likely not even a single one of you are going to make it. I would be willing to bet. If I took that bet, if I legitimately took a bet with everybody and said the bet is that you're not even going to get to the 10% mark. If I took that bet and we can use money as a gauge, my net worth right now is let's just say 15 million. Let's say even we could even say it's just 10 million. But I can almost guarantee you my net worth is over 10 million. My net worth is probably something like 15, 20 million. It probably is. I right now my whole thing is if I just sit on my hands for the next 4 months and put in 0.2% effort, that's what I need to do, right? Just don't mess that up. If I just don't mess that up, oh my God, well, I'm gonna go and buy myself whatever. I'm gonna go and buy myself this and I'm gonna go and buy myself that. I'm just gonna wait for 4 months, right? And if I do that, I will effectively have enough capital put away, and I will have enough, collateral for the loans. I'll put away enough collateral for the loans as well. I'll have collateral for the loans. I'll be making substantially more cash flow, right? I will be increasing my cash flow by about 250%, and then it will start climbing upwards here in about 4 months, 3 months. All right, so my cash flow will increase substantially. I'll have a substantial amount of collateral put away, and I can just go and take a loan. And if I take a loan for about $2 million, I can float the debt. If I did not work for a single day, I could float the debt for about 2 years. I don't want anything from anybody. Okay. Oh my God, I don't want anything from anybody. I guarantee it. Okay, you're not investing in my business. If I legitimately felt like more money was going to do anything for me, if I even felt like I could do anything with more money, I would just go and get the money. I can already get it. It doesn't matter to me. Right? My whole like me right now, I make enough money in 1 month to cover an entire year's worth of my expenses. All right. Effectively 97%, like 93% of my money just sits there. All right. I already make so much I can't even do anything with it. All right. If I legitimately believed that I could do more with money, then I would just go and get the money. More money's not going to be the solution to any of the problems. A lot of this stuff I still need to figure a lot of this stuff out, right? I still need to figure a lot of this stuff out. A lot of this stuff is still just kind of in the cosmos. All right, I still need to figure a lot. More money's not going to solve anything. More money's not going to fix anything. If I legitimately felt like I needed more money, I would just go and get more money. All right. And my whole thing with my business right now is that, well, I know my whole thing is, if you think about it, right? Think about what happened. I started my business 3 years ago with 5 animals, right? And today, as of today, if I were to take a very minimal amount of leverage, I would effectively have 75 animals. Okay, and if you think about that, that means I grew my business by like 1,300% over the last 3 years. And what I mean by the compounding effect, and with my business is going vertical, right? What I mean by this is, if you think about it, just think about it in terms of 1,000%. From 5 to 50 is 1,000%, and I did that over 3 years. But over that 3 year period, I actually just got flat out better, right? I wasn't, I still managed to do that. I still managed to go from 5 to 50, right? But today, as of today, I'm just flat out better than I was 3 years ago. I'm just flat out better at it. Okay, and I still, even then, I even with me not being that good at it, I still managed to go from 5 to 50. Well, I mean, me not being very good at it, I mean, I actually, when I think about it, I actually went from about 5 to 30. I went from 5 to 30, and then I was stuck at 30 for like an entire year. When I legitimately think about it, I went from 5 to 30, and then I was stuck at 30 for like an entire year. Because I remember I had my five, uh, and when I got to 30, I was stuck like for an entire year, and now it's like I went through 30, and now I'm just skyrocketing. All right, I'll probably even end up like at 1,000. All right, I'll probably end up at like 1,000 for the year. I probably will. All right, I probably can't even run a 500 cattle by myself. I probably could. All right, I probably can run 500 cattle by myself. And my whole thing about running the cattle by myself and everything, right, is that when you think about it, I mean, 1,000% from five is 50, but 1,000% from 50 is 500. And it may have taken me 3 years to go from 5 to 50, but it may only take me 1 year to go from 50 to 500. That's another way to look at it. And my whole thing with all this, right, is that, well, if I just sit here on my hands for 4 months, if I just sit here on my hands for 4 months and I just whatever, right? Just don't do anything ridiculous, right? I don't go and do drugs, I don't gamble, I don't do any of that kind of stuff. I don't take the money to zero, right? If I just give it 4 months, I will have enough money put away to where I can grow my business to the 500 with zero concern. I won't have any kind of financial problems. I will legitimately have enough money to float about $2 million worth of debt for like 2 years if I did not work a single day. All right, so that's where I'm looking to put myself financially, right? And I will probably, here's the thing, I will probably end up with something like 100 cattle from just me selling the cattle that I have and putting the money back into my business. I will probably end up with about 100 cattle by about May. 100, 120, something like that. If I have 100 cattle worth of my own money, right? If I have 120 cattle worth of my own money, and I'm making whatever 20, whatever $34,000 a month, right? If I'm making $34,000 a month and I have 120 cattle worth of my own money, and if I cannot convince the banker or the banker, if I cannot convince the banker to give me a loan for another 100 cattle, then that's me. That's on me. I need to clearly communicate with the banker what I'm doing, right? And I can almost guarantee it. I mean, if the banker doesn't give me money, I mean, then I'll just go to the next bank because I'm not asking for anything stupid. I'm not looking to take a loan so I could throw a Hail Mary into the middle of nowhere. I'm even offering my own money as collateral. I have assets for collateral and I produce a substantial amount of cash flow on a monthly basis, right? My whole thing about my business is that my business is 100% guaranteed. I'm not going to say guaranteed. There is no guarantee. There is always a risk, okay? But from a fundamental standpoint, my business is profitable. It's very profitable. Like the way that I run my business produces a very large amount of profit. Like I am effectively ensuring that my business grows 94% a year. If I just sit on my hands for the next 4 months, I'll effectively have enough money to buy 100 animals with my own money by just selling the animals that I have. All right. If I was using any kind of leverage, I mean, every time I sell five, I would have to buy like 20. And then it would scale upwards. Right. Because if I'm selling five and buying 20, then eventually I'll get to a point where I'm selling 20. Right. And it wouldn't even take an entire year. And so, well, my whole thing is right now, the more money's not going to do anything. If I legitimately felt like I needed more money, I would just go and get more money. Okay. All right. I already make such a large amount that it doesn't matter. My whole thing about my cattle business is that even if I had nothing, I could just redo everything in 30 seconds. What does it matter to me? Right? Money's a very trivial thing. All right. I'm not in any. I don't want anything from anybody. I guarantee it. All right. Don't kid yourself. I don't want anything from anybody. All right. My whole financial the thing that when I take a look at my financial situation is that I effectively the the way that I just whatever, right? The way that I do things puts me in a situation where I don't have to worry about jack squat. All right, I make enough money in 1 month to cover an entire year's worth of my expenses, and my earnings are skyrocketing upwards. All right, I don't like do drugs. I don't gamble, right? I don't go and do ridiculous things. I fell out of heaven to seven in my life's a magical journey, right? I actually get up and I go to work every single day, 7 days a week, and I've been doing this for years. This I've actually been doing this for 16 years now. I didn't even start getting paid until about 3 years ago. I started this business with five cattle. I grew the thing by 1,000% in 3 years. And when I take a look at it, there's a very legitimate possibility that I grow my business by 1,000% in like a year and a half. It won't take me 3 years. I would bet I could do it. All right. I mean, the money, it's whatever. All right. The money, it's whatever to me. Even if I had nothing, I would just redo everything. All right. I mean, and if you want to see what it was like, then go and do it. Nobody's stopping you. All right. If you manage. Here's the thing. I would bet, and you also have to just consider the idea that my earnings are skyrocketing upwards. There's a very legitimate possibility that my net worth goes over $100 million within 2 years. I legitimately make my money in the cattle business, right? I don't make my money on YouTube. I don't make my money, right? Grabbing wieners, right? I don't make my money. I don't make my money whatever, right? I legitimately make my money in the cattle business. That's how I make my money. I make money running cattle. All right. And if I had nothing, I could just redo everything. It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean anything to me. I just redo it all. What does it matter to me? I actually know how to do this stuff. And here's the thing. If I took a bet, there's a very legitimate possibility. And, my net worth right now is probably over $10 million. It probably is. And if I took a bet with everybody on the entire planet, it's not just if you're watching my channel, it's effectively anybody. All right, if I took a bet with everybody, I would bet that you don't even get to the 10% mark. If you sold your soul to the devil, it doesn't count. All right, if you can do the work, If you wake up and you go to work and you can do the work and you can do 10%, then I would shake your hand. All right, if you can wake up and if you can legitimately go and run cattle and even do 10%, I would shake your hand. If you can't do 10% and you're actually getting up and you're getting after it and you're going after it and you're looking to make something of yourself, then I would shake your hand too. But if you're sitting in a room, if you're watching my channel to validate your worthless BS, oh my god, you're just a massive pile of problems, and you're watching my channel because you're looking to validate yourself. You're looking for a hug, you're looking for someone to make you feel better about your whatever, your worthless situation. You put yourself in some unrecoverable thing, and now it's everybody's fault except for your own, right? If you're in some situation like that and you're looking to validate yourself, right? I mean, at some point I would hope that you take a look at yourself or throw yourself off of a bridge, because you're not going to help anybody. If anything, you're going to make things worse for other people. All right, at some point, if you just get after it and you go and you look to do it, I've already shown you that it's possible. All right, if I just sit here on my hands for 4 months, I will legitimately make enough money to grow my business. I will legitimately make enough money to to more than double my business over just the next 4 months if I put in 0.2% effort. All right, this is the thing. Well, this is one of the things I discussed. Like, if I put in 0.01% effort, I make 100 grand. All right. And I'm not saying that to like brag about it. I'm not saying, it took a long time for me to get here. It took a long time. And I am actually looking to push myself to that 100% mark. I am looking to push myself to the 100% mark, regardless of the money. I'm not doing it for the money. I already make more than enough money to do anything effectively on the entire planet. I am looking to push myself to the 100% mark just because. I am looking to do it. All right. Right now, I might be trying 0.2%, but you also need to understand that for me to get here, I legitimately split my chops wide open for like 2.5 years straight, every single day. All right. I had COVID. I still worked. I had salmonella poisoning. I still worked. I had whatever. I had E. coli poisoning. I still worked. I got COVID again. I still worked. My dad had a heart attack. I still worked. I had to work a day job while I was starting this business. I still did both of them at the same time. That's how I got here.